is another team's revenge.
They are stunned.
And for every chance made, there's another chance missed.
And he drops a touchdown!
Every game-changing play, every game-changing player.
A pick six!
Two legends in D.C. One we know, the other waiting to be told. Two stories in Seattle. One about a team that couldn't finish what they started, and one about a team whose backup was a starter. And two questions in Buffalo. Is this the start of a run?
The Bills win it!
Is this the end of an era? This is your Super Wild Card Weekend headquarters. This is NFL Total Access. Welcome to NFL Total Access. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. So, how'd you enjoy your double-dose triple header? We will get you to every single reaction to our Super Wild Card Weekend and set you up for greatness as we head into the divisional round. William McGinnis and David Carr are with me tonight, but let's get right to the big story of the day out of Philadelphia. Let's bring in our NFL insider, Ian Rappaport. And Ian, we know Doug Peterson is no longer the head coach of the Eagles. So what more can you tell us about how all of this went down?
Just 3 years after winning a Super Bowl, a place that has a statue of him erected outside the stadium. Unbelievable. Doug Peterson officially fired today as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Owner Jeffrey Lurie just talked to reporters a couple minutes ago and was asked the question if Doug Peterson deserved to be fired. He said no, he did not deserve to be fired. It is simply about the direction of the Eagles franchise and making sure they are moving forward in the most successful way possible. I'll take you, MJ, through two key points here. First, part of the why had to do with, again, the direction of where Peterson wanted to take it, specifically staffing. They had an offensive coordinator opening to fill, and they had a defensive coordinator opening to fill. What Peterson wanted to do was promote internally, move some guys around, not bring any outside voices, but allow Matt Burke, the really respected defensive line coach, to be the defensive coordinator, Press Taylor, the quarterback's coach, to be the offensive coordinator. That was certainly not enough for Jeffrey Lurie. He wanted bolder strategy, bringing some outside candidates. In the end, they just could not agree with the direction that Doug Peterson wanted to take this team. And then, of course, there's a question, what happens to Carson Wentz? My understanding was, had Peterson returned, Carson Wentz would not have wanted to return. Now, there's a possibility, I would say, that Wentz is actually back in Philadelphia with a new head coach. It's on the new head coach to make this guy what he was. As far as who that will be, well, the Eagles begin their search now.
That's exactly it, Ian. With the decision come many more questions. And you mentioned some reaction there. Former Eagle Chris Long, he reacted to the news on Twitter. This is what he wrote. I appreciate Doug Peterson. We worked hard, and he never flinched. His energy plus attitude was a big part of 2017. Hoping the champ gets back on his feet quickly. I suspect that he will. And we've had plenty of reaction all over. But first, let's take a look back at some wild card Sunday action. Starting with our Sunday finale, Browns at Steelers. There's Mike Prefer, Cleveland special teams coordinator, taking over head coaching duties. No Stefanski, of course, because of a positive COVID test. First quarter, first play of the game. Steelers snapped it over Ben Roethlisberger's head, bounced into the end zone, and Carl Joseph recovers it for a Browns touchdown. It was in that moment, friends, that we knew this was going to be nuts. The Browns led 7-0. Later in the first, Steelers ball trailing 21-0. Big Ben going for Deontay Johnson, but Sheldrick Redwine was there for the pick. That was Roethlisberger's second interception. And we were just in the first quarter, y'all. Yeah, not great, Big Ben. Ensuing Browns possession, 3rd and 3. Run the ball. Kareem Hunt did just that. Rushes it in 8 yards for the touchdown. This was the story the whole way through. Browns with a decisive 48-37 win, their first playoff victory since 1994. All right, let's get to some more game action. Ravens-Titans, we heard all the storylines. Lamar Jackson ready to get that dub. Second quarter, Ravens trailing by a score. 3rd and 9. Action, Jackson, activate. 48-yard run for Lamar right into the end zone. Tied it up at 10. Listen, Lamar rushed for 138 yards in this game. More than you know whom? Yeah, Derrick Henry. Yep. Speaking of, third quarter, Titans trailing 17-10. Ryan Tannehill under pressure. Dumps it off to Henry, but it's a loss of 2. So Tennessee settles for a field goal to close that gap just a little bit. We go to the fourth. Titans trail by 7. 2 minutes left. Tannehill throws it. Nope. Marcus Peters swoops in for the interception. A nice return there. Sideline hype. That's going to do it, y'all. Ravens head right to the logo for a little dance party. Jackson getting his first playoff win, 20-13, the final. Let's see how Lamar's taking it all in.
But how does it feel personally to finally prove to people that you won in the postseason?
It feels good, Mr. Jameson. I knew, we had the capability of doing that, but there's gonna always be no naysayers, no matter what. So we just one game at a time. I appreciate the win, hard-fought team victory. They played great as well. Tennessee played a pretty good game, on both sides of the ball. But I'm grateful for the win. That's all God.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson was unstoppable rushing outside the tackles. Now, according to Next Gen Stats, he rushed for 138 yards, 11.5 yards per rush, and a touchdown against the Titans. On the other side, the Bills' defense allowed over 10 yards per rush outside the tackles, the highest of Wild Card weekend. All right, let's bring in the guys, Willie McGinnis and David Carr. When Lamar Jackson shows up, he shows out. What impressed you the most from that performance, Willie?
MJ, I don't want to call him Lamar Jackson. I want who?
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. Greg Roman, great job of utilizing what Action Jackson is. He is a weapon. He is a threat. You ran the ball 35 times, and you got him on the edge as a team. He has 16 rushes. I love the design runs. I love getting him outside. I love his instinctive plays. I love when he threw the ball off a play action across the middle. He threw it to the playmakers in space. Don't overload him with a bunch of passes. This is not the formula to win football games for Lamar Jackson. Use him, use his feet, and let him use his instincts. When he's playing freely like that, when he's having fun, when he's getting outside the box and making all these elusive plays, and you're using his feet to throw the ball as well as a run-pass option, this is the perfect formula for Lamar Jackson. You got away from it for a little while. You figured it out in the last 4 to 5 weeks. This is how you win football games, and this is the most effective way for Lamar as your quarterback. I'm sorry, Action Jackson.
Willie, you know what I like about that entire segment is that you're starting to show a little soft spot for quarterbacks. That makes me happy. I really love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a little love to the defense. Okay, so as much as Lamar Jackson played out of his mind, the defense actually came in with a great plan. I loved it. I thought that they challenged Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball from the pocket. They said, you know what, Derrick Henry, you're not running on this defense. We're going to load the line of scrimmage. We're going to play tight man coverage on the outside and maybe mix in some zone. But here you go. It's 3rd and 4. Look at all those guys at the line of scrimmage. Derrick Henry, you're not running in this situation. You're going to have to throw it over the top. And you got A.J. Brown on Marlon Humphrey, and Marlon does a great job. First of all, you got the pressure in his face, so he doesn't have time. The ball has to come out. Marlon Humphrey with his great cowboy hat in the postgame, by the way, makes a great play here, right on the hip of A.J. Brown. Not really any room for them to throw the football. Now they mix up the look. They're going to play zone, and Ryan gets a little mixed up. He's got a zone beater over to the right, or actually to the left. He's got man-to-man and press to A.J. Brown. He doesn't see it. He doesn't throw that way. They got him confused. You got a touchdown, maybe a big play to A.J. Brown. He's looking to the right, and Marcus Peters is going to midpoint this seam, and he ends up throwing it into coverage. So I thought it was a great job by Wink Martindale, by that secondary, mixing up the looks, disguising. But a lot of pressure was on that secondary to make plays because they were going to be forced to win the football game. Ryan Tannehill was going to have to beat us throwing the ball. They challenged him to do it. He made some plays, didn't make enough. Great job by the Baltimore Ravens defense. And
David, they made adjustments. The first quarter, Tennessee scored 10 points. The rest of the 3 quarters, 3 points, and they were 1 for 7 on 3rd down. That's winning. That's winning defense.
That's how you close it out. That's how you lock it in. And speaking of close it out, remember the game that finished up the weekend? Yeah, let's talk a little Browns-Steelers here because the Browns beat the Steelers, got their first playoff win since 1994. The first few seconds of this game pretty much set the tone, Willie.
Yeah, and that playoff win they got in 1994 was against the Patriots. That was us, and it wasn't good. But what I loved about the Browns is they came in and they got after them. They had a lot of energy. The turnovers, of course, you got to capitalize off of those. They scored 24 points off of those turnovers. They defensively, they made sure that they couldn't run the ball, which they didn't. And when they had opportunities, they got the turnovers. That's the other thing important. It's hard to beat a good team when you throw 4 picks. Now, running the football with Chubb and Hunt, that is your formula. I love Baker Mayfield. I love Peoples-Jones. I love Landry. But those running backs right there, that's the reason why the plays open up down the football field. Baker is good at moving the pocket. He can throw from the pocket, but don't force him to overthrow the ball as well, just like Lamar Jackson. We know he can sling it, but you got 2 of the best backs in the backfield. Utilize them, control the trenches, and that'll open up things down the field.
Yeah, exactly. And if you watch the Browns play, the remainder of these playoffs, if you watch them play earlier in the season, If Hunt and Chubb get going early, they score a touchdown, it's going to be a great day for their offense because everything opens up. Like you said, the play action pass opens up. Baker can get on the perimeter. If you watch them play this next week, if Baker's able to get to the perimeter on the backside off a bootleg in the first quarter, it's going to be a long day for the other team. If he goes play action and is able to hit those creases right behind those linebackers that are stepping up because of that run game, it's going to be a long day for the defense. So really like how they played. They were in good rhythm, and great job by the coaching staff doing that without Kevin Stefanski out there.
Not just without Kevin Stefanski, but so many obstacles to overcome. Listen, not everybody picked this team. I did it. I'll admit it. I picked the Steelers. But let me give them a little bit of love because of what they did. The Browns became the first team in the Super Bowl era to snap a playoff drought of more than 15 seasons and win a playoff game that same year. Okay, listen, credit where credit is due. Now, guys, all of the games, very intense, right, as we expected. But there was an alternative broadcast that was a little brighter and full of slime over on on Nickelodeon. And our Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer there, he tweeted this: "My son loves Nickelodeon but has never sat and watched a football game with me until today. I appreciate Nick introducing our kids to the game in a fun and entertaining way." I love that. And our Nate Burleson was part of that broadcast team.
Look, everybody's excited in the Superdome. SpongeBob, Patrick, we mentioned Arnold.
Alvin Kamara is one of the best players. Here's the comparison. You got Alvin Seville, Alvin and the Chipmunks. You know, feel like Dave Seville because I say,
All right, Nate, explain what we got here.
From 20 yards in, that right there is the red zone. And if you can get in there, you have a really good chance of scoring a touchdown.
Honestly, wouldn't you rather learn about physics?
Breeze.
Oh, yeah.
Over the middle. Vince Thomas. He dances his way into the end zone.
There we go with the slide cannons. Hey, that is epic.
How about that? How awesome was that?